Jim, Ryan mentioned Lathan was expected to get a full week of practice this week. If he's able to play, what does he provide? Or just in last week, how did you think you guys did without having him, despite having sort of a mix of guys in that spot?
Yeah, I think Jordan stepped up really well. I mean, that was a big change for him, and he handled it. He handled all of it. Having Lathan back, the experience, the run stopping capability, I think that helps us for sure. And then Jordan can go back to nickel, based on how Lathan really holds up this week.
We'll go in the middle here. Dan Hope, Warriors.
Hey, Jim, it seems like the last couple of weeks you guys have had some trouble with quarterbacks stepping up from the pocket, being able to take off and run. What are the things that you guys need to do better to not allow that to happen this week?
I think we need to, when we do decide to bring pressure, we need to be on our assignments and our gaps. I think anytime you bring pressure, there's a chance to create creases. And then, just keep working on our rush lanes. It's not easily done. When you want guys to throw moves and get pressure, there's going to be some seams. So it's just a constant process of working on it.
It did seem like there was a concerted effort to do more stuff schematically in the pass rush game last week. What kind of an emphasis was that over the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, I'd say that was a big emphasis for us, to try to find ways to create more pressure.
Go on to Iowa here, Dylan Davis.
Jim, we hear so much about, keeping guys fresh along the defensive line and having that rotation. There's been a sizable gap the last 2 weeks in your top four and what's behind them. Thinking with a guy like Caden McDonald, are you comfortable with the snaps these guys are getting behind your top four?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with whatever Coach Johnson deems appropriate. He's around those guys all the time. He manages those guys, and he knows what he's doing.
Fifth row, Cameron T. Robinson.
Jim, kind of on the pressures. You guys blitzed on third down more than you guys had all year. What did you see that you think worked? Then what do you think maybe tightened up? I guess even Braille looking down the pocket there sometimes.
Yeah, I think it worked. Bringing more people in different ways. Not just relying on our guys up front. Trying to give them chances for matchups and just create more looks. When the quarterback gets out against a pressure, it can be a big deal. So we just got to keep working on it.
A guy like Lathan back, maybe it frees up Caleb a little more, do some more things. How much more versatility does that give you when you want to send pressures to different areas?
Yeah, I think it changes things. You have a veteran guy who's done it, who can adjust to different formations, and we're going to see a ton of different formations. So I think it does allow you to do more.
Go second row on the aisle, Bill Lance.
Jim, I know stop rate is a key metric for you in these matchup games like the one you're about to play. The fourth quarter stop rate has been, I'd imagine, far worse than you would like it to be.
Yes.
What have you identified, I guess, as any kind of commonality in those situations? And I guess what's on your mind thinking going into a game against Penn State that probably will be another four-quarter game?
Yeah. Just fundamentals, I think when you're away and it's loud and, you have to really go back to your basics, and you have to be able to line up fast and adjust to 1,000 different formations, and you can't get too cute. You really just have to go back to your fundamentals and your basics when you're in those situations.
On the topic of what you were just asked about defensive line rotation, what is your role? What should your role be as the coordinator in making sure the guys that you want on the field are on the field? I understand you want to empower your position coaches, and they are around those guys the most, but should it come down to ultimately what the guys that you want on the field rather than any singular position coach?
No, I think it always has to be it always has to involve the full group, including the head coach. I mean, you have to operate as a team. You always want to defer to the position coach. There are other opinions, that people have, and we all work together on it. But it's got to be all together.
Go right in front, Austin Ward.
Jim, when this team goes with that Rushman look and has Caden and Kenyatta inside and JT and Jack staying on the outside, what's the thought process there? I am an amateur, you are an expert. Just the eyeball test would tell you that maybe those should be flip-flopped.
Yeah, I think it's a constant experimentation. I think who's good at what. I remember a play earlier in the year with Caden matched up on a guard, and he whipped him and got the clean sack. So I think there's a lot of experimentation there, getting people in the right spots and just seeing who works what best.
Deep center field, Jeremy Birmingham.
Jim, how do you coach a player out of defensive pass interference situations? And is there a moment when a guy like Jimmy Matthews, who's playing sparingly this year, you almost have no choice but to say, we need to put this other guy in there, because it seems like Davison has been kind of spotlighted by officials for his handsiness. How do you guys coach that? What's the thought process into changing it up?
Yeah, we have to help them. I mean, one of the ways is to, which we'll be doing this week, to help Davison, is to use gloves during practice. We got to put the gloves on him. So that he can't grab. I like him being physical. I think you just have to keep coaching. There are times, okay, you've won. You're in good position. You can't latch on. You can't latch on at that point. But I still want him to play physical. I just like the finish to be different, and we got to find ways to help him.
This past weekend, it seemed like Denzel and Davison maybe flip sides to start the game. What's the thought process behind that?
We feel that Davison is better being up more, and fighting at the line of scrimmage more. So, the thought is to switch those guys to put them into those positions.
Front row, Dave DeBiddle.
Jim, Penn State has a first-year offensive coordinator that brought up from Kansas. It seems like they're doing a lot more innovative stuff this year. What have you seen from them this year offensively, maybe that's different than the last 2 years when you guys faced them?
Oh, yeah, it's a lot different. It's a lot different. There are multiple formations and shifts, like all the time. So all of that window dressing to create stress on the defense, that's really a lot different. And then you add in the quarterback run game, that's a lot different.
Fourth row middle, Tony Birdman.
With targeting and on-field refs disagreeing with replay officials disagreeing with the Big Ten disagreeing with the NCAA, what is an acceptable penalty for something that two people in a row can't agree on?
I don't know if I have that answer. I think everybody's trying to work through protecting the players. You don't want to see any shots to the head or anybody lowering their head. That's how I see targeting. Keep your head up. Don't hit the other guy in the head, and keep your own head up. To me, that's a pretty good definition, and that's for the safety of the players.
Should a player lose a game for something that three different people can disagree on?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's above my pay grade. I don't know.
Right here to the front center, Bill Rabinowitz.
But we did free Arvell, right? We freed him. Free Arvell. Free Arvell.
I'm curious how you kind of look at last week's defensive performance. You held Nebraska to one touchdown. You had goal line stand when they got the ball at the 7-yard line. Yet they also had a bunch of chunk plays. It was a step forward, obviously, from Oregon, but Oregon's really, really good.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you view where the defense is right now?
Yeah. You're right. From that week, we improved our performance, but not good enough. I mean, we know that there are too many explosives. I mean, we have to eliminate those explosives. That's a key to winning games. Even more so than turnovers. If you look at the analytics, it's all about the explosive plays. So I think we need to tighten that up. I like the resilience, though, like you said, to be able to stop them when we had to and fighting to the end. So that's definitely something to build on.
If I could squeeze in 2 quickies. Sorry, Tim. Having to go against 2 potentially very different quarterbacks. I mean, one's obviously a passer, one's more of a runner. That challenge, and also their tight end is obviously a really good player. Can you just discuss the challenge that you have there?
Yeah, it's a big challenge. I mean, add in all the formations and motions. When you have a quarterback who can run and hurt you with the run, that really changes the game plan. So you almost have to look at it two different things. And the tight end is, again, he's another guy you never know where he's going to be and the things he's going to do. So you just always have to be aware of where he's at.
Second row, Stephen. 2 different things there. For starters, I know there's been concerns about the safety depth. What do you think about Jalen and what he did on Saturday?
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it. True freshman. He's got a lot of guts and he's smart. Missed a tackle, right? That led to an explosive run, but he was in the right place. Made a great play on that over route. Really heads up play for a young kid. So I really like his progress and his improvement.
And I think on all 3 of your sacks, you sent blitzes that got them there. But also, obviously, the way this defensive line has been recruited, maybe you're expecting more abilities to get pressure with just 4-man. Do you think you guys are generating enough pressure with just 4-man rushes through 7 games?
Well, you're never satisfied. You're never satisfied. But I think it's always a work in progress. Just getting those guys to do what they do best. They're talented. They want to. They're coachable. So it's just a constant growth process.
Wrap it up here in the front, Tim May.
Thanks, Michael. Do you tell JT this week, just do what you did 2 years ago? I mean, is that the plan?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, following up on that, how pleased, I guess how disciplined do you have to be when they do throw all that eye candy, that window dressing at you and stuff? What's the last thing you'd like to tell a player before he takes the field against an offense like that, where they will mix and match, but really kind of run some basic stuff out of it?
Yeah. Do your job. It boils down to that. Do your job. When it gets to be a lot of those things they do, particularly with this quarterback, it becomes like an option game. You have to be really focused on doing your job.
And Denzel Burke, did he have the bounce back game you kind of wanted for him last week? Because obviously he had a tough time at Oregon, at least for a quarter and a half or so. What do you think he got out of that? Do you see a little bit of difference in him this week?
I don't see a difference. He's always competitive, always wants to get better. But yeah, I'm proud of him. I thought he bounced back. I think they went after him a couple times, and he did a great job. So I thought it was a strong performance by him, which you're happy for him to be able to be resilient and bounce back.
All right, Coach, thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.